Robert Spencer here for Jihad Watch, a program of the David Horowitz Freedom Center and for the Center for Security Policy. The Trump administration recently released a list of terror attacks it said were unreported or underreported by the establishment media, and the parents of two of the victims of one of the listed attacks were enraged. In August 2016, a Muslim named Ismail Ayad, screaming Allahu Akbar, stabbed two people to death in an Australian hostel. Not only was this not terrorism, we're supposed to believe, but President Trump is a terrible person for including it on his list of terror attacks. Rosie Ayliffe, the mother of 21-year-old victim Mia Ayliffe-Chung, wrote an open letter to Trump in which she declared, "My daughter's death will not be used to further this insane persecution of innocent people." The Washington Post added helpfully that yes, Ismail Ayad had yelled Allahu Akbar during the attack, but he had also rambled incoherently, stabbed a dog, and was apparently infatuated with her daughter. In her open letter to President Trump, Ayliffe added, "I have spoken to friends of Mia's and other backpackers who worked long days in the fields with Ayad, and none of them ever saw him put down a prayer mat. Salat, or prayer, is the second of 5 pillars of Islam, and calls for 5 daily rituals of ablution, prayer, and prostration. An Islamic fundamentalist, by definition, must respect the 5 pillars of Islam. It would be very hard to imagine someone managing to perform this ritual 5 times a day in the close confines of Home Hill Hostel without witnesses. Any fool can shout Allahu Akbar as they commit a crime." Les Jackson, the father of the other victim, Tom Jackson, agreed and excoriated Trump for not doing his homework. He said, "I'm pretty sure he and his advisors know full well, or could very easily verify, that Tom and Mia died not as the result of an act of terror, but rather through the actions of a disturbed individual. Of course, that doesn't suit his agenda." Jackson added, "He said Allahu Akbar. It's a bit like me saying, 'I'm Jesus Christ.'" In reality, it is nothing whatsoever like saying, "I'm Jesus Christ." Allahu Akbar is often mistranslated in the Western media as God is great, but the actual meaning is Allah is greater, meaning Allah is greater than your God or any other thing. It is the aggressive declaration that Allah and Islam are dominant over every other form of government, religion, law, or ethic, which is why Islamic jihadists in the midst of killing infidels so often shout it. One primary purpose of shouting is to strike terror in the hearts of the enemies of Allah, as the Quran commands at chapter 8, verse 60. Nonetheless, according to the Townsville Bulletin, Queensland Police, the Australian Federal Police, and the Joint Counterterrorism Unit investigated any links between Ayad and radical organizations, and they did not find any evidence of radicalization. Now, this is an example of the prevailing denial and political correctness that hamstrings our approach to jihad terror. Ayad wasn't carrying an ISIS membership card. He wasn't going to mosque. He wasn't praying 5 times a day, so therefore they say there's no evidence of radicalization, and President Trump is both stupid and evil to classify these murders as terror. The problem here is that the paradigm that Ayliffe, Jackson, and even the Queensland Police, the Australian Federal Police, and the Joint Counterterrorism Unit are working from is false and erroneous. A Muslim who never goes to mosque, does not pray, and is not otherwise observant may be carrying around a large load of guilt. He may know that an easy way to offset all of his sinful deeds is to perform an act of jihad, and the Quran guarantees paradise to those who kill and are killed for Allah. That's in chapter 9, verse 111. So in this case, Ismail Ayad may indeed have been a bit unbalanced and unhealthily fixated on Mia Ayliffe-Chung and troubled by that or any number of other things. And he may have conceived of an easy way to get back into Allah's good graces by killing her and Tom Jackson. That he stabbed a dog would even be in keeping with this. For Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, ordered that dogs be killed. A hadith says, it was narrated that Abdullah ibn Umar said, "The Messenger of Allah used to order that dogs be killed, and I went through Medina, and we did not spare any dog, but we killed it, to such an extent that we would even kill the dog of a woman belonging to the desert people." All this doesn't make Ayad's murders acts of terrorism akin to 9/11 or Fort Hood or San Bernardino. He probably didn't think of himself as acting to advance the cause of the Muslim Ummah or as an operative of Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State. But authorities aren't even aware, they aren't even considering the possibility of killing as an act of personal expiation within Islam. They should be. President Trump is not to blame here. The faulty and partial understanding of Islam, universally accepted by government, law enforcement, and the establishment media, is. I'm Robert Spencer.